Namo Phat. Thank you for joining me for our daily practice check-in. Listen, listen, listen. This beautiful sound calls us back to our true home. The third mindfulness training. Aware of the suffering caused by sexual misconduct, I vow to cultivate responsibility and learn ways to protect the safety and integrity of individuals, couples, families, and society. I'm determined not to engage in sexual relations without love and a long-term commitment. To preserve the happiness of myself and others, I'm determined to respect my commitments and the commitments of others. I will do everything in my power to protect children from sexual abuse and to prevent couples and families from being broken by sexual misconduct. For our Dharma lessons, we've been reading Beginning Our Day, Volume 2 by the monastics of Abhayagiri Monastery. And today we're reading the first part of Your Last Day Alive by Ajahn Yatiko. During this morning's meditation, I was reflecting on the sutta, Mindfulness of Death, where one monk tells the Buddha he keeps death in mind once a day, thinking that he might live that much longer to contemplate the Buddha's teachings. Another monk says he keeps death in mind several times a day, and yet another monk brings death to mind every minute or two. The Buddha says each one of these monks is dwelling heedlessly. One of the monks present says he contemplates that he might die in the time it takes for an in-breath or an out-breath. The Buddha commends him for that. After all, we could die on an in-breath before breathing out, and with every out-breath we could die before breathing in again. This is a powerful reflection. It brings the mind into the present moment in a striking way. The Buddha described a group of 5 unskillful mind states that hinder the mind. These 5 hindrances are sexual desire, ill will, sloth and drowsiness, restlessness and anxiety, and skeptical doubt. Taken to a deep level, this reflection on death can cause the hindrances to be in abeyance, because the hindrances almost always involve the passage of time. If the mind is in the present moment, and if we recognize that death could come this very instant with the snap of a finger, then there's no time for the hindrances to arise. For many of us, this is an old reflection. One way you can give it new life is to assume that this is your last day alive, that your moment of death will be tonight at the stroke of 10. How will you spend your day if this is your last day alive? You might say to yourself, if this is my last day alive, I don't want to spend it on self-centered habits. I don't want this last day of my life to be marred by being heedless or by taking for granted this human form, this opportunity, this community, or by concerns about my personal health. Behaving in those ways on the last day of your life would be tragic. You might also acknowledge the ordinary and practical aspects of life, saying to yourself, I still have things to do today. I need to do chores and go to work. Let me do this in a way that's going to be an offering so that I can give of myself. I can support the monastery or help some people. And finally, you might say, today is my last opportunity to free the heart from the defilements. Let me do my best. That's why we're here, to free the heart from greed, hatred, and delusion. Sometimes we can get lost in judging our meditation. My samadhi is not good enough. Although our meditation is very important, we forget that the whole reason we're meditating is to free ourselves from greed, hatred, and delusion. The depth of our samadhi practice or the experience of a profound insight is only significant because it supports that freedom. So we can reaffirm our intention to be free of greed, hatred, and delusion, to be content with our experience. For some of us, if not many of us, no matter how difficult our situation is, our health, our position, or our mental states, it's not so bad. It could be much worse. It's enough to be content with. This is simply where we find ourselves in this moment. This is where our karma has put us, and it is possible for us to be content with our situation and to use it to free ourselves from the defilements. May all beings be well. May all beings be happy. May all beings be peaceful. Namo Adida Phat. Thanks so much for joining me today.